Okay, what you want to do, get yourself a set of fairly thick rubber leather gloves. This is going to be a nice stick. I like it because it's twisted, and it's going to be straight when it's going to be twisted and straight when I get done with it. You know, it'll be straight on the top and straight on the bottom, and the rest of it's just going to be all funky. That's the way I like them. But yeah, what I do is I get like a roofing knife for, you know, to use this for tar paper and stuff. And you want to make sure it's dull. You don't want a sharp knife, because if you use a sharp knife, it's going to dig right into the wood. And you just peel the bark off. See, this kind of grazes right over the wood instead of digging into it. And yeah, you know, a lot of people say in the spring, you know, that the wood, the bark comes off really nice, and it does. It's nicer than this, but this isn't bad. You know, it's still wet, so you get the stuff when you get the stuff in a swamp. It's going to be wet, and the bark's going to come off pretty nice. So there. Yeah, you just spend all kinds of time. This is the fun part too, because then you really get to see what these diamonds are going to be looking like. See, like that one. There's another one here. I like these smaller sticks too when they're a little bit bigger than the size of your thumb on the top, on the big side, and then about the size of your thumb on the bottom. That's a nice walking stick. A lot of people get these and they're really fat. I don't like that because, well, they don't handle as well, and they're heavy. They're so heavy. So when you go out and walk for an hour or two with this big, fat, heavy stick, most people don't like it. You get a nice, small, light stick, and that's all you need. Prop you up, keep you moving. You can poke your stick in a lot of stuff. Poke around. Yeah, this stuff's still plenty wet. It's going to come off just fine. See how nice that comes off? Because it's dull. If it's sharp, it'll dig right into the wood and you won't like it. And you know, there's still a little bit of bark left on, but all that's going to sand right off. I actually kind of told myself that I need to stay away from the bigger sticks. And I went and got some anyways. They look so cool because the diamonds are so huge. I can't pass them up. I mean, I want more small ones like this, but they just don't look as cool. I think one of those pieces I cut to, I think is dead, which is fine. The wood's not going to be white. It's going to be a really dark wood. But, I don't know, different character. You never know what you're going to get into. Some of them are spalted on the inside, which is kind of cool. You know, it's just a different character. Yeah, when they're really dry, just so long as they're standing, you can get some really cool colors out of them. All this bark too, I always put it in my garden on the side of my house, my flower bed. It's good mulch. It looks really cool. So I have Diamond Willow mulch all over in my yard, in my gardens. That's going to be a nice handle right there. I'm going to like that. There it is. Just that fast and easy. You can leave it just like that. You can peel some of this bark off more if you want. You don't need to. You gotta sand it anyways. It comes right off. Nope. My strip pieces. This is actually a dead piece of wood, so this one's going to throw off some really cool colors. Really cool. It's going to have some grays and some browns and some black stripes and not much white. It's really hard to find them like this. If you can find one that's been dead and standing for about 3 years, it makes some really beautiful color. And the reason why you don't find too many of these is because by the time they get dead like this has probably been dead and standing for about a year, maybe 2. After 3 years, though, they start spalting a lot, like this. You can barely see it, but it's just starting to rot out. And if this wasn't completely surrounded by water in a swamp, the bugs would have got at it. So it'd be all full of bugs and worms, and they don't turn out like this. They're really hard to find. The only way you can find them like this is if you actually walk through the swamps, and you usually have to do it in the middle of the winter. This one's just the bottom of this one's dead, so that's going to look really cool with all the white. And this one's half dead. It's half on its way. See that this fungus actually tries to kill the tree for the life of the tree, and it tries really hard to stay alive. So it just works around all that fungus. And I got these all cut to about 6 feet. I like them to be too long, because if the ends crack, I can just cut them down. I got this coffee can. I put paraffin wax in it. Some people use tape. Some people use, I don't know, saran wrap. There's a lot of ways you can do this, but I just take a coffee can and put regular canning paraffin wax in there, and put it on the stove on low, and I just dip the ends, because the ends always want to dry out first, and they dry out fast. And this is one way to help try to keep them from splitting, because it'll slow down the drying process on the ends. So you just dip them in there, and I'm gonna put them in my steam box to dry, and it's probably gonna take about a month. Hopefully they dry slow enough so they don't crack. They need to dry really slow. That's the key trick. Yeah, I can tell this stick is about completely dry. I can tell it's really light, and it's not wet and cold. When they get really dry like this too, you can pretty much start carving on them right away. But I'm not going to. I'll let it dry up some more. Yeah, these skinny ones are the ones I like to walk around with. It should be pretty cool enough. I'm going to like that one. It's all twisted and wicked. I could twist this up any way I want. I could make it look like a curlicue. Wrap it around a pole after I steam it. I might. I've been trying to make canes too, but it's not working. I made this funky little bender here. I first started out trying to use a bearing. Yeah, I just try to pull the wood around after I steam it, and the bend was actually too small, so I got this PVC, and I might try to do something different. I tried like 3 of them and they kept breaking, so I'm gonna try to do something a little different here. Yeah, I don't know.